Good day to you. Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to do automotive design challenge. I saw several people on YouTube redesign for a Honda CRX, and I am also a very big Honda CRX fan, and I'm also a car designer. So yeah, I kind of took it upon myself to also go and have a look into this challenge, and today I will go about it the way I would also go about it during the classes I gave for automotive design on the University of Rotterdam. And yeah, so let's get started. So the first thing is that the Honda CRX is now 30 years old, and that means that for a modern day car it's kind of small and it's difficult to get all the safety features into the car. And so the first thing that I'm doing is writing down what the dimensions are of the Honda CRX, what the proportions can be. Then I will take a look at what the current Civic dimensions are, and I'm going to look at what a possible competitor will be for a future Honda CRX. Now, at this point in time, if we look at a Honda Civic, we see that Honda has a new design style, which I absolutely hate, but okay, that's another thing. And then we will look at the competitor, and in my mind I think that a good competitor would be a Subaru BRZ, for example. So we are also going to take some specifications from that car. Now, looking at the Honda CRX, it was 4 meters long, a little over 4 meters long. Now the new Civic is 4.6 meters long, and the BRZ is 4.2 meters long. If we look at the width of the car, then the Honda CRX was almost 1.7 meters wide, and the Civic is almost 1.8, and the BRZ is also almost 1.8. If we look at the height of the vehicle, the Honda CRX was a little over 1.2 meter high, and the current Civic is well over, or a little over 1.4 meter high, and the BRZ is almost 1.3 meter high. Wheelbase is around 2.7 for both the Civic and the BRZ. So and then we look at the newer tire sizes, because bigger vehicles also have bigger wheels. So the BRZ, and I'm looking at stock models, they have a 205/55 R16, and the Civic has a 215/55 R16. So with that, we are going to make a dimensional sketch to be able to determine the proportions that we are working with. After we have determined the proportions, we are going to look at the design language. As I mentioned, I completely dislike the current way Honda designs their cars. It's just way too busy, it's way too 1994 tuner style in my opinion. So we're going to tone it down a lot. However, Toyota and Honda and a lot of other companies are really designing with straight edge design to promote aerodynamics and reducing wake and get a lower CX value. And so we are gonna use some straight edge aerodynamics on the car, but we're just gonna do it with way less lines and way less weirdness and details on the car. So let's start with some of the lines and some of the features that I would like to accentuate from the Honda CRX. So for me, a big inspiration would be also the Honda Civic Coupe from 2008. I really like the simplicity of that design and the smoothness of that design, and especially on the coupe, where the rear end is I think a lot nicer, and the window line is a lot nicer than the normal version. So that one is something I'm going to be taking with me in the design as well. Now, one thing I really like about the Honda CRX is that it has the tail light over the full width of the car. It helps it look very wide, and so that's definitely a feature I want to keep. Another feature I want to keep is the long rear window and the rounded hips. And when you look at the rear spoiler, the stock version has this small rear spoiler, but really helps with the aerodynamics. And yeah, the straight cutoff on the rear also of course helps with great aerodynamics. That's why the CRX was so fuel efficient. Looking at the front, I personally like the E8 model or the SIR model better, with a hood on top basically, and not the hood dimpled down, with the blinkers going around the corner. And yeah, so we are going to try and put that design in, and of course the coupe styling, or yeah, whatever you want to call it. That's something I really like, and I want to incorporate that into this new design. And of course it has to look like a sports car or a sportier car, and yeah, in my opinion it should also be a fuel efficient car, and that's why the aerodynamics needs to be chosen quite carefully. You can go full race car, but then you get a lot of drag, which is unnecessary for road car use, but might look very cool, of course. We need to be somewhere in the middle, and also to allow it to yeah, match up with its competitors, and also to fit within the Honda styling. It needs to have something that resembles a Honda in this day and age. Another thing that you just don't see anymore today is the fact that the Honda CRX is a two-tone car, and I think that it pulls it off really nice. And if I ever were to build the Honda CRX, which is on my to-do list, I would definitely keep the two-tone. I know that some people run the Mugen body kits, but it takes away from the two-tone, so I really wouldn't prefer that. So somehow I want to incorporate those things that I mentioned, and try to get something that fits the bill basically. A thing I find good is the other guy that was doing the Honda CRX design. He said that their design is something that you grew up with, something that you have a certain affection with or a certain memory with, and that's something you capture with that car, and it's impossible to recapture that. And so to call it basically a redesign would not be fair to the original car, and is something that you most likely will never achieve. And I think that's a good way of looking at it. We have new technology, we have new things that we have to or must do, and that determines what we are doing, and what you need to do when designing a car, and that also yeah, requires some things that need to be there. And yeah, so will it be a Honda CRX exactly? Will it be a true? No, most likely not, and some people will like it and others won't. So yeah, let's just try and make something that in essence has the spirit of a CRX in it. Let's put it that way. So first of all, I start off with side profiles, and then afterwards I use an oval, and with that oval I start 3D designs, and based on my 3D designs and my side profiles I start to get some details that I like, and based on those details I go, yeah, basically further and further into a concrete design, and that's what I'll be doing here as well. And then in the end I will make yeah, renders, detailed renders, and that's what I'm going to do in this video as well. So keep watching. What I did is keep the long sleek lights that the Honda series had, like the Prelude and also the CRX and the Civics. and have the light going all the way around the back. There was on the doors this line with basically the door protecting rubber that was really a thing back then, and I tried to incorporate that line together with the two-tone lower side of the car, of course the coupe styling, and the roundness of the rear of the car, and the lines that accentuate the width of the car. I tried to get those in, and the hood on top of the fenders basically, and you know, few details like that I try to incorporate. You can see some elements of the new Honda. You can also see some elements of older generations Hondas. So I think all in all the outline of the design is pretty solid. So with this design, I hope that you can see that I'm going for this really smooth styling, which yeah, basically should really show the fuel efficiency of this car, which the Honda CRX is of course also known for. And the coupe styling of course also helps with the fuel efficiency. For the European market, that would really be a good thing, fuel efficiency. I know that in America, for example, fuel efficiency is not as important, but here in Europe, fuel efficiency is very important. When you look at the design, the wide headlights is something I really like from that era. Furthermore, if you have the SIR or the EE8, you have the bonnet that lies on top, basically the raised bonnet. This car has this as well. If you look at the lines, the black trim going over the side and starting over the front bumper, these clear lines you can see come back into this design. The two-tone, again, something I personally really like, so I try to use that in this design as well. I used a little bit more modern day styling for the inlet in the front bumper, and yeah, a lot of the styling features are more like the 2008, 2009 model, where the Hondas were just much more smooth and elegant in my opinion. And yeah, so I really try to give it a real Honda vibe, but also give it my own vibe, and show some of the lines of the original CRX, and have that come back in this new design. I hope you can see that. I hope that you can appreciate it. Doesn't mean you have to like it, but at least appreciate the thought that went into the design process and what I tried to achieve. And yeah, if you like it, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel and you'd like to subscribe, please do so. And thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next episode. Thank you.